Good morning, everyone. Welcome to The Way Back. My name's Glenn, and this channel is shared with my partner, Steph. Say hello, Steph.
Hello, everyone.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to do a little impromptu Q&A session with Steph about something I'm going through right now. So I'm making a point of getting it out there, but it is off the cuff, because I'm just going to talk about it. It's actually food addiction I want to talk about that I'm going through. Steph's literally our resident expert on food addiction, as when she fires in, she'll tell you why. But I'm the one who's suffering right now. So anyway, let me just bat on. Are you all right for me just to carry on, Steph?
Go right ahead, Glenn.
Right. So obviously, throughout the years of my alcoholism, while I was trying to stop, when I was drinking, my food intake was crap. The quality of food and the quantity of food was crap, obviously, like most people. And when I was drinking, my exercising was crap as well. So I always try to do everything. Obviously, I'm an alcoholic, and we are all pretty much all or nothing. There's never no middle area with us, usually. Certainly, definitely not with me. It's all or nothing, no problem. So when I was trying to stop the drink, I would try to eat as healthy as I could by dieting, and I would also try to do as much exercise as I could and just cram it all in. And obviously it was just far too much, and I failed miserably nearly every time. So that being said, that's when I was doing those three things and I was managing to keep it all together for the short periods of time, that's when I was mentally and physically at my best, because it made me feel fantastic. It made me feel awesome. So I'm telling you, I'm just painting that picture so you understand that in the back of my mind, I feel like I have to do all those three things together to be the best I can be. So this takes us right up to the 5.5 months ago when I was back on my first day start again. Takes us back 5.5 months until I was starting to get sober. I put together with Steph a nutrition program for me and an exercise program, and I pretty much nailed it for probably the first 3.5 months or something like that. Lots of stuff happened in between, which I'm not going to go into, about stalling my metabolism and things like that. But the point I'm making is I exercised hard and I exercised regular, and I didn't even diet. I just ate healthily under Steph's guidance. And for UK people, I've lost, I think I've lost I've lost about 3.5 stone in that 3.5 month period, which is a lot of weight. That's, for you, someone else, it's about 43 pounds I've lost. So that was all going great, and I love my exercise. I'm not a fit guy, but when I'm exercising, I get my fitness back quite quickly. And I do a lot of hiking, walking. I was running again. A lot of cycling, hiking, so it was all a good balance. Now, this 3.5 month period it started to falter when I got back into full-time work, which, obviously the exercise became hard and whatever. So I've been working now I'm 11 weeks back in full-time employment, and literally exercise-wise, I've not done much at all. Probably in that 11 weeks, probably for about the last 7 weeks at the beginning, I kept my eating very healthy and I was still losing weight and whatever. So that kind of brings us to now, to the last, let's call it 3 weeks, where I've started to notice a problem with myself and my eating. I've started to eat a little bit more, which is not a problem, but I'm eating the wrong stuff. So I never had a sweet tooth when I was drinking, but I think when you come away from the alcohol, it seems to be a bit of a common theme that people develop a sweet tooth, and they need the sugar intake or whatever. So that's starting to happen to me again. As I say, started about 3 weeks ago. So I'm very conscious that a little bit of the weight is starting to come back on that I've lost, and it's been, I must admit, it's been I've been very I've not been too bothered about it. It was like, hey, I'll just have a week of doing this and I'll get back on it. as long as I don't drink, right? That's all that's important. But I had a bit of a eureka moment that I wanted to talk to Steph about a day or two ago, and because we've both been busy, I've not been able to. And this eureka moment is this. I hope this is making sense to you. I'm coming from a place where I honestly 100% believed that in order for me to stay sober, I had to eat correctly, healthy, correct amounts, correct foods, and I had to have a healthy balance of exercise, whether it be daily, every couple of days, or a minimum of weekly. And that would keep me sober. That's what I honestly believe, because that's how my past has been. Every time I've fallen off the wagon with exercise, food, and whatever, I've generally eventually fallen off the wagon without alcohol. Here's a eureka moment. This is what's changed in my mindset now. I've come to realise that I'm that far into my alcoholism now, and under my understanding of myself, that these two, the eating and the food, no longer have a hold over the alcoholism. So what I'm saying is, I know that those two won't take me back to the drink, okay? That's why it's very easy for me now to not exercise and to not worry too much about the crap shit I'm eating, because I'm not fearful of going back to the drink anymore. Is this making sense, Steph?
It makes sense. However, I don't think it's necessarily that the crap eating and not exercising led you back to drink. I think there was something going on in your mind, in your mindset, in your recovery that caused you to start eating crap and not exercising, and then eventually led you back to drink. It wasn't do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think it was the not eating properly and not exercising that actually led you to drinking. It was you were already on that path.
Okay, let me just jump in and just say the last little bit, and then obviously you can jump in. So the realisation for me a couple of nights ago was because for the last 2 weeks or whatever, more so the last week, but a bit into the second week, I've been sort of battling in my head again. Right, Glenn, you need to get control of this again. Everything's fine, but you don't want to put the weight back on. You don't even want to put too much of the weight back on, and starting to blow a bit with my lungs when I'm walking places and get the fitness is starting to go down slightly. So I need to get control of this again, and this is what I'm saying, that it's now in my head it's not that important anymore, because it's not going to lead me back to drink. If I was so scared, if I was shit scared that it was going to lead me back to drink, then I would probably be in the garage exercising right now and not buying any food. So this is where I'm at now. I need to draw a line in the sand and my plan is from today. So this is where it ties in with the alcoholism and the addiction brain thinking, where for me to get off it again and start doing the right things, this is where I mentally work. I have to draw a line in the sand and go, right, this is day one. Mm-hmm. So basically I'm blowing out for the last time today again, which is shit. No, I get it. I know it's shit. I know all this, but anyway. So I'm blowing out again today. I mean, all I've had to eat today is chocolate. It's 11:45 in the morning. Well, it's 11:45 a.m. and all I've eaten is a big bar of dark chocolate and a Cadbury's cream egg. I mean, okay. That's ridiculous. So that's where I am. And so tomorrow I'm planning on doing the fruit and veg smoothies and what have you, banning chocolate in my house, not buying all that crap again. And, I'm not going to dive into the exercise again or whatever, but getting back on it, and I'm going to weigh myself. My weighing day is always a Friday, so I'm going to weigh myself next Friday. I will have put weight on, and then I'm going to start to sort of weed myself off of it, the weight, and get back to where I was. So, I know I'm talking a lot, Steph. I'm going to let you jump in a minute, don't worry. So this is my whole point. This is food addiction to me, which I never really thought I had. I just thought it was alcoholism. But the reason I'm eating that food is because there's this... I don't so much believe in this, but the more and more I think about it, it does seem to be the case. There's this big black hole void that I need to fill. Yes. Because when I'm doing it, I'm not fucking hungry. I'm really sorry for swearing. I need to stop doing that. I do apologise. I need to feel something, because I'm not eating because I'm hungry. I'm eating. It's weird. That's the addiction part I'm trying to get over. People with food disorders or whatever might understand what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. You're not hungry. You know you're doing wrong, but you're going to throw that down, and you just keep doing it. it's crazy. And then you'll do it the next day and the next day.
Yep.
So I don't want to make a massive thing out of this, because I know that I'm addicted. I've got this addictive personality. So once I conquer this one, I'll just move on to the next one, which I'll have to deal with in the next one after that. But I don't want to go too far along. Right, I've said all my piece. I think I've got off what I wanted to say. So I'll let the expert speak now, and I'll just fire in between, if that's all right.
I don't know about expert, but I certainly have experience. I think, first of all,
just tell our little audience about what you're studying and everything, so they understand where you come from.
Well, I am at the end of a 2-year program of holistic nutrition, so I do know a thing or two about nutrition and food, but my personal experience with food addiction, I was a compulsive overeater for a few years back in my 20s, and that led into bulimia for close to a decade, and I've also suffered from anorexia, so I've kind of experienced the full spectrum of eating disorders, so I know completely and fully what you're talking about. I think when you first started to describe your unhealthy eating and eating chocolate, it was sort of like, well, I'm not drinking, but I'm doing a bit of this. But when you, in the past, just recently as well, have explained to me your chocolate eating, you have actually used the word binge. You've said, I've had a full-on chocolate binge or eating binge. So this is not, and it sounds to me like you're becoming aware. This is not just slipping a bit on the food thing. And for some people, that may very well be the case, where you just kind of fall out of your healthy habits and eat a bit more chocolate than normal. This isn't about eating a bit more chocolate than normal. This is about, like you said, a full-on binge. And a binge on chocolate or on any other unhealthy food is absolutely no different than taking a drink. In regards of, like, addictive behavior. This is what you're doing. I've experienced it since getting sober myself, and one time comes to mind in particular where I can't remember the situation. I think it was, we were going to have steak for dinner, and my husband was like, "Oh, I might get some wine. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then I started thinking, like, I don't romanticize alcohol, but it was, wine, it goes so nice with steak. And I kind of started thinking about it. And without even thinking, I was actually chatting with someone, and without even thinking, I went downstairs and I grabbed out the chocolate, and I just started binging on chocolate. Not like crazy binging, I was just eating a bit. And then after sort of 5 minutes, I realized how much chocolate I'd eaten. And then I put 2 and 2 together, that I was craving alcohol, and I went straight for chocolate. I've also done that sort of more consciously as well. But I'm glad to hear that you're aware of what it is. It is a binge. You are trying to fill a hole. It's not hunger. It's not a sweet tooth. It's not anything other than just an addictive behavior, and you're trying to have the same effect as if you'd had a drink or anything else.
Which makes the fact of the way I'm doing it worse, that I'm allowing myself to do it as in a little binge to kind of, I'll get it out my system, because It'll never be out my system.
It doesn't work.
Will it? Yeah.
It only pulls you further in. This is why I was saying before, when in the past, when you've seen yourself go off of your healthy eating plan and go off of exercise, and then you think that led you to drink. It didn't lead you to drink. You were already on the path of using an addictive behavior to fill a hole, because you weren't working on recovery properly. You were letting everything just happen, and yes, that's one of the really difficult things for people like us. And again, not everyone who has had a problem with alcohol has cross addictions. That's what these are, cross addictions. But some of us do. I know myself very well. I very easily become addicted to anything. Drugs, alcohol, and food is one of those things. And you have that issue too. So I like the awareness. I like hearing you say that.
I think, just let me jump in there. Yeah. I think it's important for people to understand as well. I didn't always have this awareness. This is very, very new to me. I just thought I had a drink problem. Now, obviously, we're not going to go off on a tangent and talk about why I had a drink problem and go back to the very beginning. That's for another video at some point in the future. But I just want to make aware that I'm only just becoming aware of this addictive personality that I have. So I'm still learning.
Yeah. It's a tough one, and as I've said to you before, when it comes to food and food addiction compared to alcohol or drugs or other things like that, in, food has to be a part of your life. 3-4 times a day, you have a relationship with food. You have to, you have to eat. You can take alcohol out of your house and out of your life, and not go there, and you still have to work at sobriety. But with food, I'm very conscious of it every time I eat, and I'm not 100% better, healed, or recovered from my eating disorders. I am a lot better than I ever used to be, but I still have some kind of crazy food behaviors when it comes to chocolate or various things. Like I'll take a chocolate bar, like something like a Milky Way that has like chocolate on the outside, and I'll like peel off the chocolate and eat that and throw away. I have this thing about throwing away part of it. I'll make myself something, and whatever amount I put on the plate or in the bowl, it seems like a reasonable amount. I'll eat 2/3 of it and throw the rest away. Like I have that need to kind of not finish it.
It's like a control thing, isn't it? Just to say to yourself, yeah, I've got this. Don't worry, I don't need all that.
Yeah, so I mean, those sort of things I think I'll probably always do. I'll always have that. But eating disorders, the compulsive overeating and bulimia took me to a very, very dark place. I can never go back there. That's something I have to be very aware of and careful with. So one concern I have with what you were saying is that you're going to go ahead today. It sounds very much like the chat we had yesterday when you were talking about getting sober, and you'd said that it was because you'd made your video and said it was day one again, but it was Saturday, so you're like, well, I'm going to go ahead and drink, and I'm going to go ahead and drink tomorrow, because you have this thing about days, and like, my thinking is when you said you're going to have a blowout for the rest of the day is just don't. Okay, you've had chocolate up to this point, but that doesn't mean you have to carry on. You can stop. You can stop and choose to eat healthy.
And sorry to butt in, but there's a second part to that as well. There's that thinking of, okay, I'll have a blowout, and then there's this really messed up thinking about what tomorrow's going to look like. Now, it's not just get back to a normal healthy eating plan. It's like starve yourself,
Yeah.
And I know better than this because you've worked with me. I know this, but that mindset is still there. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but that's the mindset. All of a sudden this morning when I start thinking how I'm going to do it, it's not just get back to your balanced breakfast and your lunch and a healthy meal. Don't eat after 7 o'clock. I don't know, whatever it is. Don't have, and cut chocolate out and sugar. That's what it should be. But in this head today, it's like, maybe we could do a fast. Maybe we could just do a complete juice fast. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe let's just do a water fast for a day. In fact, if I do a water fast, let's do it for 2 days. In fact, if I do a water fast, let's try to do it for a full week because I'll probably lose all the weight. And it's just that messed up thinking.
It's eating disorder thinking is what it is. That is eating disorder thinking. That is disordered eating. And that's basically like exercise bulimia. You're not binging and purging. You're binging and then going, okay, what am I going to do to fix this? Which I still do that. When I had that chocolate binge, I went and worked out. I had to do something. In the dark days of my bulimia, it was binging on massive, massive amounts of food, and then going and making myself throw up. And that was a cycle that would go on for hours and hours. It's the most incredibly horrible thing to imagine, but when you're in it, it's what those food binges are like, right? You're eating in this like animalistic kind of way, just and you're almost numb when you're doing it. You're aware of go ahead.
No, I'm just the one thing for me, and I don't know if I'm slightly different from anyone else in that food addiction respect, is it's chocolate with me and nothing else. It's not general
Chris?
food. Hardly. I did try the Chris over the last couple of weeks, and I bought a big bag, and it didn't fill that void. And it was a big bloody bag of Chris as well. Quantity-wise, it should have filled fucking many voids, but what I'm saying is it didn't fill the black hole. It's only chocolate. It's chocolate that does that.
It actually fills the void for you, chocolate? It works?
No, I
Well,
worded
this
that
is
wrong. Nothing will fill the void. But well, do you know what? It 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 feels like it kind of maybe temporary.
well, yes,
Fills it,
exactly. I mean, that's the
you know.
same with any food binge. It's while you're doing it, if it tastes good, it feels good, and in that moment, you're lost in enjoying that, and everything else gets shut out. That's why it's similar to alcohol. Alcohol numbs your central nervous system, and you're not feeling your feelings quite as much. It kind of takes over that stuff. It takes the edge off. When you're in a food binge, you're so focused on what you're experiencing at that moment that everything else dims down.
Yeah, totally. Interesting.
So what is your plan for the rest of the day?
Well, me being me, it's not going to stop. I'm not planning on going down and eating. No, I know. There's no. I'd be lying to you and the listeners if I say I'm just not going to eat any more chocolate today. It ain't going to happen. Okay, and I might even have a takeaway tonight for my tea. That's kind of where I am. And unfortunately, as you know, I can't change that. But what I am very good at is the day one thing and the line in the sand. Now, I know that's not the correct way of doing it, but I can do it that way. That's the way I have to do it. So no, I'll balance it all down, and I will go. Just so you're aware, I've been having I have a normal breakfast, just like toast on brown bread, and for my lunch for the last probably 2 months, maybe 3 months, I've had a fruit and vegetable smoothie that I make when it's got protein powder in and really good stuff, and it's giving and bloody Popeye spinach that Steph forced me to take, but it's done the trick. It's got my metabolism working. I'm burning fat, and it does what it says on the tin. So I've kept up with that, but it's because I'm at work and I've got that structure. Those two things have been really easy to maintain. It's when I got home, I used to have this, healthy meal, and not much after that. If I needed something, it'd be some yogurt, but keep fully hydrated. Drink all the juice and water I could, because obviously when I stop doing the right things, keeping hydrated just completely goes out the window. It's one of the first things to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to get back to your original question is, I will be back on track. I'll do the toast and I'll do the smoothie, but there'll be no junk in the house. I'll make sure of that tonight. I'll make sure nothing else gets bought, and I'll make sure that if there is anything I need to nibble on, it'll be as healthy as it can be. It might be a few very plain biscuits and stuff. I know they're not healthy, but it's a far damn sight healthy, because obviously I know I'm preempting how I'm going to feel, and I am going to be a little bit hungrier because I have upped my eating in calories and for the last 3 weeks. So and again, that comes down as quick as it goes up. I only have to do this for probably 3-4 days, and my tummy and my mentality will change again. And as I say, I'll weigh myself on the Friday, and I'll have put on which X amount of weight, and that'll be my starting point again for the following week to keep it going. And then I have to introduce some exercise into that. Again, if I say to you I'm going to do it this week, I'll be blatantly lying to you, because I know deep down in the back of my mind that I won't, because I'm really struggling to work, get home, and then raise myself to go out and do a workout, to do a run, a cycle, or whatever, even if it only takes 20 minutes. So I need to, again, this is how Glenn has to work. Week 1, get your food in order, get everything, your sugar intake down. Week 2, introduce a little bit of exercise, and then by the end of week 2, when I weigh myself again, I'll have lost weight, I'll be feeling a lot better, the endorphins will be flying around in my head again, and I'll be back on track. And what it'll give me, that goal again that I need. So I'll fixate on setting a target of maybe 4 weeks. So I'm talking in 2 weeks' time, I'll probably set a target of 4 weeks, possibly 8 weeks, give myself 2 months, and I'll set a target date of weight loss as well, and I'll do it. That's how I have to do things. Not saying that's right.
I think there's an important distinction to make here. There's the idea of changing a bad habit like drinking, and replacing it with healthy habits like eating healthy and exercise, and that is a part of a lot of people, who we know on our group. A lot of their program is sort of taking on this whole new holistic, healthy life in order to change the bad habit of the drinking lifestyle. There's that, but then what we're actually talking about is food addiction. And I think the distinction is important, because when you talk about setting up this plan of like next week it's going to be healthy eating, and then bringing in exercise and weighing yourself, I mean, all that stuff is it's fine, it's healthy, but you have to be careful what your mindset is. Is that just incorporating some healthy habits into your life, or are you replacing that addictive voice, for alcohol with an obsession with food, exercise, and weight loss?
No, and it's funny because I know everything that's gonna come out of your mouth, because we've talked about this for a while. But listening to you and trying to turn all that information round and put it into a manageable plan for me, that's the bit I struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
I do things a hard way.
Yeah.
And yeah, which I'm working on. I'm definitely working on that. But yeah, as I say.
Well, can I just jump in? I know you didn't want to get into this, but I mean, the thing about you wrecking your metabolism, you shot yourself in the foot, but it was that behavior. It was, the all or nothing, full guns blazing or nothing attitude when it came to weight loss at the beginning of this, the sobriety time that we have now. You were exercising a ridiculous amount. You were barely eating enough for like 100-pound woman. And you killed your metabolism. You actually stopped losing weight. You lost some, then you stopped, and we had to reset your metabolism with the 3-day water fast. And you were being told by myself and other people on the group as well that you need to eat more, because you were posting your calorie intake and your calories burned, and it was ridiculous. It was no wonder at all that you shut your metabolism down. And that's self-harming. You're not taking care of your body. You were desperate to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, and that is addictive thinking. That's obsessive thinking. That's not right. I'm going to exercise because exercise is healthy and good for me. I'm going to eat healthy because I want to nourish my body with healthy food. That was, I have this much time to do this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do it. That's why I'm saying that this distinction is important. There's incorporating healthy habits into your life, and then there's this obsessive dieting, obsessive exercising, and then right along with that, food binges, food addiction. It's the mindset.
Yeah, totally. Just to give the listener some context in that, I mean, I've heard of this happening, but it's the first time I've actually seen it in real life. I actually shut my metabolism down for 5 full weeks. I was consuming about 1,400 calories per day maximum. And
sometimes less than that, Glenn. So you were sometimes posting that you had like 1,100 calories for the day.
Yeah. And plus I was burning in excess of, I think from memory it was close to 1,000 calories per day in exercise.
Sometimes more.
And it was more on weekends. I was doing huge amounts. Some weekends I could I was probably consuming about 8,000 calories in a working 7-day week, and I was probably burning the same just in exercise. Anyway, the long and short of that was the weight loss just completely slowed down. Well, it slowed down slowly over about 4 or 5 weeks, and then it stopped, and then it lasted for 5 weeks, which was terrifying for me, because I was doing all this hard work and the scales didn't move, and I mean literally didn't move. And I think from memory I actually put about 1 or 2 pounds on.
Mm-hmm.
Something really weird happened, and that was horrible, because if you can imagine how my head's working with this addictive pattern I've got going in my head, it's everything in your brain's telling me, I'm going to swear, fucking exercise more, fucking eat less,
mm-hmm.
and that's how you lose weight. But that's obviously the worst thing you can do, but that's what I was battling against, and obviously finally we had to up my calories slowly, well over a week to 2 week period, ease off the exercise and just give my body a break, and the different foods that I ate came into it, what I had to start eating and stuff, and and a 3-day water fast, which if you're interested in that, there's the videos on this channel. I just will say you don't do a 3-day, you don't do any water fast to lose weight. That's not the purpose of it. If you watch a video, you'll understand it. But I put all those factors together, and it restarted, and luckily it restarted quite quickly, because I researched a lot about it, and a lot of things said you can stall for right up to 3, 4, 6 months, before it starts to work again, and that was scary. Mine came back within about 2 weeks. I started to do the right things, and I think I lost a couple of pounds, and then the week after, I was eating more, I was exercising less, and the weight was just starting to fall off at a nice pace, which would have been probably about £2 a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a life lesson right there.
Again, I feel like it's important to bring the distinction to, there's a healthy way of dieting and setting goals, and then there's an obsessive way of doing it, which I think you fall into, and I think you're even doing that now. You set yourself a time limit, and like you sort of feel like you have to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, instead of going, okay, I'm going to do all of these healthy, right things, and then we'll see what my weight is at this time. But you're like, I have to lose exactly 15 pounds in this amount of time, and on that particular day in the morning when I get on the scale, if it doesn't say that number, that exact number, you're going to lose your shit. It's that's not the healthy way to do it. The healthy way to do it is incorporate the healthy habits, make sure you do them every day, be consistent, and then you get on the scale and you look down and you see what it says and you record it, and instead of completely freaking out because it's a certain date and you're expecting a certain number. I don't mean to criticize you. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, you're not criticizing. I think people will understand what you're saying. It's you set yourself to be a slave to the scales as well, which is terrible. It's the worst thing you can do. Actually having apprehension about getting on. So if the weigh day is a Friday, actually waking up an hour before your alarm goes off and almost having a little bit of panic. Oh my God, even though you've done all the right stuff. I've eaten healthy, I've eaten correctly, I've exercised, I've done everything, I've ticked every box. But I've just got all this apprehension about what ifs. To all intent purposes, given what I've done, I'm probably going to lose a minimum of £1, hopefully £2. The odd weeks it'll go up to £3. The odd weeks it'll just maintain. But oh my God, the double thinking, the triple thinking about what if this happens, what if you put £5 back on? It's ridiculous thinking. It's silly and it's annoying.
It is ridiculous thinking, because in the grand scheme of things, you've got to look at it's incorporating new healthy habits. It's not about your weight. If you're doing the right things, your weight will fall into place. You will lose the weight, and your body will become the size and weight it's meant to be. And if you're doing all the healthy things, that's what matters. You have this mindset of, on a certain date, and usually it's on our sobriety date of this many weeks or months or whatever, you want to see a certain number on the scale. And we quit drinking because drinking is not healthy. It's not a part of it, because we were addicted to it, and it's we don't want that in our life anymore. We don't do it so that we can say we have 5 months sober and then 6 months sober. It's not about the numbers. It's not about I have this much time sober. It's I don't drink anymore because that's not healthy, and I don't want that in my life. And so it's not about the numbers. Does that make sense?
I do. No, perfectly. That was good. I enjoyed that, and I needed to get it off my chest. I'm done with that one, Steph. I don't know if you are.
Done.
Excellent. I'll just quickly wrap that up then. I hope everyone enjoyed that, and if you have got any questions, just leave your messages below, and one of us will get back to you. And if you've got any hints or tips for us, put that there as well, because I'm always open to reading them. So I'll say goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And we'll see you on the next video.
See you. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.